This utilities regime was put together at the time that the population of the entire university community were just, what, 2 universities, then later 3 universities, less than 1,000 people in all these 3 universities. And so there were many, many freebies, if you may want to describe them as such. Apart from free utilities, there was free meals, 3 square meals a day. There were free gowns, there were free butlers, free laundrymen. Lecturers were entitled to a trip abroad every year, 1 trip abroad, university of their choice for research and all of that. I was going through a certain history and I saw that really we have had good times. I had, yeah, yes, is it paying? Unfortunately, my parents didn't meet early, so I couldn't enjoy the good old days. But we have noticed that with time, you know, we lost the free meals, we lost the cleaners for our rooms, the one in a room, we lost the trips abroad for lecturers and all of that, because a decision had to be made, looking at the massification of the population and the number of institutions. Do we continue to create a very elitist system where the majority are kept out, they cannot enter, qualified applicants are left out, and then only a few continue to enjoy this? Or do you appeal to consciences and then open up space, let everybody make some sacrifices so that many more can come in? And I think that, yes, there was a battle. I remember joining the Mobrowa struggle as a student leader those days, Yentia and all of that. But eventually we reasoned up and we proposed the GET Fund. And I am always proud of the student movement for proposing the GET Fund. It has really helped. But for the GET Fund, virtually everything, 98% goes into, 98% of GOG resources go into salaries, remunerations, working conditions. You have nothing left for capital investment, infrastructure expansion, you know, lab equipment, and all of that. It's GET Fund that comes to help. And we all see the impact of GET Fund, every institution, every district. So we now have more than 340,000 students at the tertiary level. And can we continue with some of these, you know, the remnants of the good old days? So that's a debate that we need to have, especially as in our institutions now lecturers are paying. Previously lecturers were not paying. Now lecturers have had to pay, and they're paying for utilities. We now have a situation where even on the campuses, if you look at the residential facility user fees, majority of students these days, because of our in, out, out, out policies across the board, majority of students are off campus. When they are off campus, they pay for utilities in their private hostels. But as soon as they are on campus, they don't want to pay, or they don't pay. And the minority, the minority are being sponsored, being catered for, being subsidized. But the majority are off campus and they fend for themselves. So the view has been that we need to develop a sustainable path forward. So if you look at the cabinet directive, which still stands, the cabinet directive to the Ministry of Power and ECG is that educational and health institutions should be exempted from mass disconnections. And the cabinet directive still stands. But that cabinet directive also charged us to develop a sustainable way forward. And so a working group was put together. Vice Chancellor's Ghana is represented. The Conference of Rectors of Polytechnics is represented. The principals of the colleges of education, PRENCOF, is represented. We have the student leaders, the NUCs, GNUPs, TAG. We have Ministry of Power, we have ECG, we have Ghana Water, we have Ministry of Finance, and NCT, NAB, Ministry of Education. We are all represented on that committee. And we are working on a sustainable way forward. So the decision, in summary, is that the cabinet directive still stands. So for this academic year, we don't expect students to be billed. However, the working group has put its report together. We were tasked by cabinet, so until cabinet decides to divulge the content of that report or to make the report public, I'm sure that all of us will have it. But for now, the status quo remains. But we ask that we should all look at this matter very dispassionately, and we should have this debate and see what works for us. Can we begin to also look at conservation? These days, we go to our rooms, the student rooms, and we see the kinds of gadgets that students are using. Can we have a metering system where every room is metered so that vulnerable students who don't come to campus with all the microwaves and fridges and hair dryers and all of that, can be saved? Then those who think that they have all the gadgets in the world, will pay for it. And that system would then be more equitable. As it is now, some of the proposals we are hearing, for example, when I was here 2 weeks ago, I heard that the School of Medical Sciences, the proposal was that all students should pay 1,000 Ghana cedis. I was wondering how that was calculated and how fair it is to the various segments of students, those who come in with who are lean on equipment, on gadgets, and then those whose consumption patterns are very high. Why should they all pay the same and all of that? What was the formula used and those things? So these are discussions that we want us to hold, and then let's work together to have a more sustainable program. At the end of the day, let's remember Article 25 of our Constitution, that education in Ghana is a right and it's not a privilege. So everything that we do, yes, it's a delicate balancing act. We want to make sure it's affordable so the quality also is high and we don't compromise quality. But we must also bear in mind that beyond a certain price tag, beyond a certain threshold, many people will be left through the cracks and they will not be able to access tertiary education or university education. So we call for a dispassionate discussion on this matter. But for now, please, the decision is that no new bills, no new fees. We do hear that some departments, being very dynamic and very proactive, have already billed and collected some monies. I do pray that God will touch their heart to refund the money to the students, because we are going to be paying back. You know that when you are talking in a tertiary institution, they are autonomous. People in the media wonder why I have become so soft these days, and we don't have any teeth to bite. You can't bite, even if they call you baby with a sharp teeth. You will only be biting yourself, because these are very autonomous institutions. University councils, academic boards decide what to do. The act and the laws are very, very clear. So we can only appeal and appeal again that the boards and the councils will reconvene and take a second look at these decisions, so that we can all at least be on the same page and work together moving forward. So finally, let me, on behalf of the Minister of Education, Professor Nana Ajinopoku-Agyeman, the government and people of Ghana, congratulate the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology under the very visionary and dynamic leadership of Professor William Otu-Ellis, and to congratulate the Department of Communication Design for what we are here to celebrate. You have indeed made Ghana proud and made all of us proud. Now when we are all over in the world on international conferences and all of that, we'll ask them, do you guys have your own television channel? We do in Ghana. KNUST has led the way. And we can also beat our chest and be proud of you and to be part of the bragging rights. So congratulations once again, and thank you very, very much for making us proud. God bless you all.
Thank you very much for not just promising to facilitate this partnership, but also showing hard evidence of something which is very important to us. Thank you so much. For your information, what we are doing now is currently streaming on YouTube, and very soon the online TV will also be on. So that's for your information. The Deputy Minister of Communications, in the person of Honourable Ato Sapong, is here, and he will also say a few words to us. Shall we welcome him?
Thank you very much, and let me also stand on the existing protocols of Prof. and Honourable Deputy Minister for Education, and also extend warm greetings from the Ministry of Communication and my boss, Dr. Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who, as at 5 p.m. yesterday, was really getting prepared to come here this morning. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, and so called me to represent him. And so here I am. I noticed that when Honourable Okudzeto raised the issue of the book and research allowance, the excitement, especially from this side, was great. An indication that it's something that they've been looking forward to. And if Sami had not said it, I'm sure questions would have flowed after the program. So he made justice to it. What we are witnessing here today, I would say, probably began in 1935, when the first relay radio station was launched in Ghana through the BBC. This was when we were still governed by our friends from the United Kingdom. And the governor was then Sir Arnold Hodgson, if my memory serves me right. And when Radio Zoo, as it is then called, was launched, he said that this is something that is going to take into homes news, entertainment, and education. And with the launch of a radio station such as this, we've broken the barriers of ignorance and isolation that leads to obstacles in our path towards progress. I would say that many years or many decades after that, the landscape has changed. In fact, indeed, in 1965, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation was born. And Ghana just had one radio station and one television station. And each day we're all glued to GTV, watching popular Ghanaian programs. So we grew up watching programs like Osofu Dazi and the Koshes and Super Oldies and Obres. And the only foreign programs that I remember I watched was the German League, which was being shown on Saturdays. And then the other one they called Jake and the Fat Man, that I remember that we watched. Apart from that, we were always anxious every Sunday, waiting for Talking Point to end, so that we can go and watch Osofu Dazi. And for some of us who grew up in some little village in central region, where in the whole community there will be probably one man with a black and white television set, you have to be very nice to his children between Friday and Sunday afternoon. so that you'll be granted the permission to stand behind the window and peep or Sofidazi. Woe unto you if on the field of play, maybe you kicked him small, then you would have the unfortunate situation of him drawing the curtains as soon as he saw that you have appeared behind his father's window to watch TV. But you fast forward to the 1990s and to the visionary leadership of men like the late Edward Salia, who was then Minister for Communication at the time, Honourable Phil Grabara, who is still in government as Minister for Trade and Industry, and our President, His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama. They decided in the 90s that we need to change the media landscape, change the radio landscape, change the broadcasting landscape, and even change the telecommunication landscape as a whole. So between 1994, 1995, we licensed our first private radio station, which is currently still operating, Joy FM at the time, as the first properly legalized, authorized station